Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Mobility. A huge weekend of racing this weekend. If you're into endurance sports, we had Friday night Yokohama WTCS racing, short course kids, the kids that are trying to make the Olympic team from all around the world. Had to stay up late for that one. 7:30 start time. That was for the chick race, the girls race, and then the boys raced after that. So stayed up for that. And then 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is 2 hours before Colorado time. So 4:30, we had Gulf Coast 70.3, which I didn't want to miss a moment of that. So it was kind of a long weekend for me, but generally speaking, it was a good weekend. It's raining in Colorado. It's hot on the West Coast. It's still raining in Boulder. I feel really bad for a lot of the athletes who are here training because they're probably just training like winter. They're training inside. But let's get going with some foam rolling. I'm a little bit early, so usually if you come early, we're going to hit the foam roller a little bit more. And this time, what we're going to do, because I think everybody's starting to really ramp up, even if it's raining where you are, we're going to start in the belly of the hamstring, and we're going to work lateral. So the outside, a little bit of that posterior hamstring, hamstring, and a little bit of that connection with the IT band down low. So that's definitely a little spicy on me. I'm starting to ramp up the running a little bit more. These are my landings. This is the mechanism that really, in conjunction with the glutes, keeps the knee from translating in an uncontrolled manner. So I can tell it's spicy because it's working. It's working because it's spicy. So I don't want it to ever get to the point where it gets dysfunctional to where my body's trying to tell me to slow down or stop. That would be a whole different thing. Then I would probably get medial knee pain. So we want to work through that lateral aspect of the distal end, the far end of the hamstring, and just kind of make sure it's working. So it should be a little bit spicy. So it's everything that kind of comes down in here. And that IT band comes in kind of lateral knee. So we're a little bit behind it. So turn that leg to the outside, and we're just really specific, working into that lateral hamstring down by the attachment, and just see how it is. The good news for me, it's the same on both sides. So just a little bit spicy, and if I go up a little bit and I roll a little more lateral into that IT band, it definitely feels like it's working. But the good news is the whole hamstring feels like it's working. So training is different than exercising because training involves progressive overload. So every week you do a little more until your back week, where you go a little bit easier and everything recovers and comes up. And that's really the art of the programming and the coaching. And that's why I think you want a coach. I think you want somebody to really watch to make sure you have the appropriate build weeks and the appropriate back weeks. All right, so now let's go adductors, right down into that attachment on the other side. So foam roller is perpendicular. We're working down low. We're going to work that internal rotation of the hip. So just lifting that foot and rotating with a little bit of pressure into that medial quad, that VMO down at the bottom. And then we can go up a little bit where the longest muscle in the body, the sartorius, kind of starts coming into that medial part of the knee. And again, in a controlled fashion, every single landing, that little group of muscles on the inside should really be working. And that doesn't mean they're tight. It means they're fluid, they're long, they're short, they're long, they're short. And they're working together like a team to make sure that the leg stays as powerful and strong and resilient and stable as possible. So these are the little details that can really add up in the course of a progressive program. So we're just going to go internal rotation, work through a little bit of pressure through that VMO, down low. Mine's a little spicy, which is good. I like that. That means I'm working. That means that progressive overload in my programming, I haven't stepped over the line too far, but I'm definitely a little bit closer to the line of something that I may or may not recover from. Tomorrow is a bike day, so I may run in the afternoon. Ultimately, my programming will be Tuesday, hard bike, easy run. It's just a matter of how my workday plays out and when those things happen. In a perfect world, I would probably do the harder workout first. So get up early, hit the bike, and then do a nice easy run in the afternoon. Okay, let's go ahead and work through the upper back today. So taking that foam roller, we've worked outer, we've worked hamstrings, we worked VMO and inner thigh, a little bit of adductors. So we're just going to go right here into a little upper back, hands behind your head. When your hands go behind your head, we call that the double arm relax, DA relax. And from right here, just let the weight of the arms pull that upper back into extension. Pay attention to how much tightness you have in your chest. As you do that, come up and then just go right back to it. And I always want to toggle a little bit. So a little bit of side to side if you want to go there. Now we're going to move 1 inch. I'm going to push my heels into the ground, move up on the foam roller. So the foam roller actually moved down on my back. Let the same thing happen. So I'm at a different vertebra now and just toggling through that nice big extension. Definitely some tightness through the chest. That's okay. Good. One more time. So I'm going to take that a little bit closer down the thoracic spine, a little bit closer to that lumbar, but right there, nice big breath, and extend, and a little bit of toggle. Long through the belly. All right, good. All right, next move we're going to do, let's put the foam roller away. We're going to work an anchor. So anchoring, I've talked to a couple of elite runners lately, and the biggest thing is they say, where's my biggest opportunity to help myself? Adductor strength, adductor activation, getting rid of tightness in your inner thigh. And so we're going to set you into a prone position. Listen closely because we're going to put the big toes touching. Tuck your big toes under, the knees are touching, and the heels are apart, okay? So right there, we set an anchor down low. Tuck the toes under so that the feet are pulled towards the shins, the knees are tight, and then right there, we want to go left hand way out and pull the palm away from the ground. Wrists and elbows are off the ground. Same thing other side. So right here, we're looking straight down, knees together, nice and strong, and let's give them a 5-second squeeze. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just keep the knees touching, but decrease the activation through the inner thigh. When I say go, we're going to do that again. Fingertips are strong, palms pulling away from the floor. From right there, looking straight down, squeeze the knees. Squeeze them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, good. So that's called strengthening your anchor. All right, so we're starting to add activation, isometric, it's not moving, into the inner thigh. The next move is you're going to pull your belly button into your spine. We're going to decompression breathe. So I want the belly button pulling away from the floor. So same position, big toe tucked under, big toes touching, heels apart, knees together. Set your anchor. Fingertips, fingertips. You're looking straight down. Your nose is 1 to 2 inches off the floor, but you're looking straight down. From right there, tighten your abdomen, pull your belly button away from the floor. Squeeze the knees. Ready? Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, squeeze the knees. 1, and relax. One more time. That tension should be creeping up into your upper back. Squeeze the knees. Pull the belly button away from the floor. 5, squeeze the knees. 4, 3, lift the fingertips. Hold everything strong. Fingertips off the ground. And relax. Good. Activating the whole posterior chain. All right, I want you to sit with me for a second. Nice cross-legged position. If you're not comfortable in this position, you can sit in this position. Or if you're not comfortable there, you can sit with feet straight out. What we're going to work is big posture. All right? So I'm pretty comfortable here. And what we want to do is pull the ribs off the hips. And we're going to expand the rib cage. We're going to go nose, mouth, breathing. The mobility here is through the rib cage. I want you to breathe laterally into the ribs, and I want you to reach into the back of the ribs. So we're expanding the rib cage 360 degrees, okay? So chin down into your throat, lift through the top of your head. Inhale, fill the lungs as full as you can, and then exhale. And let everything come together. Ready? Big inhale through the nose. Breathe into the back, elevate, and then exhale. Let everything come together. Inhale, 360 degrees. We got 3 more big breaths. See if you can get more air into the back of the lungs and really expand the back of the body. One more big breath. And good. We're going to focus in the coming weeks a lot more on the breath and the diaphragm, and how that interacts with the lower body is pretty significant because the diaphragm has a pretty intimate relationship with the psoas muscle. Gonna sneeze. Excuse me. All right, so let's go into half kneeling. Work that same expansion of the rib cage, but now we're gonna work that in conjunction with knee over toe. So we're inhaling and expanding as the left knee goes over the toe. Ready? Let's use measuring sticks. And this is from Dr. Eric Goodman with Foundation Training. Thumbs on the bottom rib, pinkies on the hip bones. Float your elbows laterally. Knee over toe, big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You should feel a little tension on that back hip. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. One more. Sink into it nice and deep. Exhale, other side. So as we drive the knee over the toe, we're looking to expand the rib cage. If you can tuck your big toe under in the back foot, do it. All right? Thumbs on the bottom rib, pinkies on the hip bones, float the elbows to the side. Right knee over right toe. Big inhale. Big inhale. Inhale. Two more. One more. Breathe into the back, get wide. All right, good. Hang on. Hey, miss, will you send Jackson down? Thanks. I know some of you would like to keep up with my puppy, who's now turning into a dog. He's a pretty good dog. I'll make sure I have my treats. which I keep very handy when he's around. Jackson, come. Here he comes. Okay, so we're gonna go an anchored stance. Come here. Look how big he is. Good boy. Watch this. Jackson. Pretty tricky, huh? Good boy. Okay. All right, we'll see if we can just get comfortable while we're doing our workout. I've got some treats here. All right, heels outside of toes. So we've got stance outside of the hips, softness in the knees. So you can even put your hands on your knees if you want. From right there, keep your chest up, push your hips back, push your heels out. So we're gonna anchor out. So where we anchored in and pushed the knees together, now we're gonna anchor out. So you're pushing your knees apart. Jackson, sit. Good boy. Down, lay down. Wait. Okay. Anchor out. Push the knees out. Push the heels out. You're gonna feel your lateral glute switch on. From right there, let's go into that founder. Push your hips back, drop those elbows, push the hands forward like this is a counterbalance, right? So I can push my hips way to the back. And you can see I have a strong lordotic curve. I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me at all. So don't try to fix it by tucking your tailbone under. Push the hips back, load the hamstrings, anchor out. Push the heels out again. Hands strong together. Push the heels out. Pull the chin back into the throat. And then come right back out of that. We're gonna go one more time. Good boy, Jax. Push the hips back. Push the hands forward. Anchor out. Push the heels to the outside. And then come right back into that. Good. So we've activated inner thigh, we've activated outer thigh. Let's move through that a little bit more now. So lateral half kneeling. Push the hips back. We're going to go in and out of a founder. A little bit of gliding. Push the hips back. Hands forward. Hips back. Hands forward. 3, 4. On the 5th one, we're going to take the hands to the ground. We've got the left leg out. So we're going to go left hand under. And then come back. Push the hips back, left hand reaches under, come back. 3, push the hips back, reach under. 4, one more. Hips back, reach under, and come on right back. Good. All right, let's go right leg out. We're gonna go 5 times, gliding in and out of that lateral half kneeling. Hands coming to the front as a counterbalance. 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th one, we're going to go right here, hands to the ground. I feel that nicely give me my low back just a little bit of a tug. Push the hips back, right hand under. Unload that tissue, come forward, push the hips back, right hand under. That's 2. We got a couple more. Push the hips back, reach under. 3, good, couple more, reach back. 4, and one more. And good. All right, let's take it right into a woodpecker. And the cool thing about Jackson getting older is I'm not as interesting as I used to be. He's actually over there, he found a, I think a grasshopper got in the back door. And so I think he might be eating it. So we're gonna go a comfortable split stance. All right. I don't call it a lunge stance. I call it a split stance because for me, a lunge is a step and return. So this is a split stance. And right here, right leg back. Everybody get right leg back. You want to Pull the ribs off the hips, elevate, decompress. Lean forward just a little bit so that your nose is about 6 inches in front of your toe. You want to anchor in on your left leg. That means we're loading to the medial side of the knee, loading into the big toe. And from right there, we're going to take this back hip, rotate it across the lead into the midline, aim that right hip towards left mid-thigh, keep anchoring on your left side. So right here, little forward lean, decompress, rotate across, come back. Rotate across, come back. 3, 4, and one more, and 5. And you see, as soon as the hip stops, the shoulder stops. All right, same thing. So we're basically got the right leg in front of left, split stance back, float the back heel, take a big breath, pull the ribs off the hips, little forward lean, load up that lead leg, anchor into the lead leg. We're going to turn around the lead leg. So the lead leg, the right, is anchoring in. I feel active glute, and we're going to rotate around that. Ready? Hip mobility. 2, really targeted. 3, 4, and 5. Anchor in, hard, push. Strengthen that adductor in function, not just on a machine where you're squeezing your knees together. We're actually training the brain to allow internal rotation with every step, and that's how we run, and that's how we walk, and that's how we move. All right, so left leg in front of right, push the hips back just a little bit. That's going to bring my nose about 6 inches in front of the toe. From right there, we're going to rotate across, and we're going to add the weight of the arm. Push the hips back at the same time. So I'll give you that little bit of side view right there. Pull the ribs off the hips, push the hip back, rotate the back hip across, reach that. If it's the right hip that's going across, it's the right arm leaning forward, counterbalance, glute activation, and then come right back out of it. Pretty advanced, but I think you guys got this. Right? Left leg in front, push the hips back, rotate across, reach in front, push this hip back, create as much space between that right fingertips and the left butt. And then come right back out of it. A little bit of a signature move for me with my athletes, and it's how we get a really nice glute med activation. All right? Nice big inhale, pull the ribs off the hips, push the hips back, rotate left hip across right into that right thigh, anchor in on the right thigh, left arm goes forward, right hip back, come right back out of it. It's a lot going on, but it's totally worth the drive. Left hip across, left arm, right hip pushes back, come back. Let's go 2 more of those. Rotate across, push the hips back, reach that arm, come right back. You should feel your butt really working right here. Rotate across, push the hip back, reach the arm in front, and come right back. From right there, let's go right into a split squat. So we're going to go from a 90-90 hip position. From right here, this movement should happen quite easily for you now. You're just going to come straight back up, straight back down. 2, as you do this, I want you to think about decompressing through your rib cage. You're not pushing down into the ground as much as you're elevating through the rib cage. Pull the ribs up. And good. Gravity is constantly pulling us down. So we've got to figure out how to decompress and work against and strong against it. So right there, we're elevating from that 90-90 split squat. 2, 3, 4, and just one more, and 5. Good boy, Jackson. Drop the cycling shoe. He hasn't decided to ruin anything. Lay down. Good boy. So he's been pretty good, but he loves this shoe. It's his mom's shoe. All right, you guys. Week of May 15th. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you feel great. Good to see you as usual. Remember, anchoring, hip rotation is what we're after. Mobilize through your hips, mobilize through your thoracic spine, mobilize through those ankles, and everything gets better. See you next Monday.